Beep. Do. Time to make a malt liquor video. Talk about the coronavirus and how would Earltopia stand up to the coronavirus. Back in the man shed. Still really too cold to enjoy the man shed, but fuck, I miss it. You know, one thing I like about the man shed is it always stays as orderly as it is. Like, I wouldn't call this orderly necessarily, but things are where they go, and that just kind of there's no variation. There's limited things in here and limited places to put them. Malt liquor. Cap goes in pocket. Not a savage yet this early in the year. Malt liquor. It's good. Alright, so coronavirus, Earltopia. Earltopia was a whole bunch of videos I did. I don't know if it was a bunch, it was a few, I think. Where I laid out what I thought would be a really good system for community life, like a country, whatever. And basically, it was based off just observations where I saw other cultures succeed in one particular way. So they had this unique idea towards success. And then the books I've read and stuff like that. So basically it was like, you grow up in a community where jobs are constantly shifting. Education is a constant focus. Like you get you're being educated throughout your whole life as a part of going out and doing day-to-day things. Like, you know, you're in and out of college, you're in and out of trade schools. Teaching is a requirement for being a part of the community. Like, you know, there's ways around all that too. Like no one can force you to do anything unless you go counter to society to such a degree that society has to contend with your actions. That's the only way you could be forced to do something, is if you reject your community so drastically that the community is like, well, we have to solve this dwarf problem. Malt liquor. There was one of the focuses was on stockpiling, and another focus was on research of all kinds. That would be a regular thing, you know, like someone could decide, like, I want to do research into music, or I want to do research into chemistry, and you might decide, you know what, I think I could take this up and up and up, and then there's systems to help you do that while also society gets the benefit of the fact that you stayed put. You know, like, you're not going to move around like the vast majority of us. So, for instance, when we've had like viruses pop up in the past, if we started research on the antidote, you know, the inoculation or whatever, but that virus kind of went away, you would finish it. You would finish the research and you would produce the product, and it would be tested. And, you know, over years it'd be like, well, this is as perfected as it could. Not because you thought necessarily that whatever that was going to come back, but because you started something, it hadn't been done before, and you bring it up to a completed project, because that's what you want in Earltopia. That's what you want in my ideal society. And then while you're doing that, you're like, well, what other viruses are out there, say in other animals, birds or whatever, that they don't transmit to human beings? But say they did. How would that come about? You know, say you've got like you know, a bird that can't transmit a virus to you, but then you keep that bird with ferrets, underneath ferrets in a wire cage. I saw this picture. And the bird viruses land on the ferrets. The ferrets have viruses that could pass to humans. Then humans kill that ferret because that's what they're going to eat for lunch. And then they get sick with that bird flu by eating a ferret. You know, Earltopia, stuff like that, people that knew that that's possible would make sure that people don't do that, stack birds on top of ferrets so one could shit on the other, and the idea is you're going to eat that ferret later. Can I have the ferret with the least amount of bird poo on it, please? You might say. Ugh. Asia is such an interesting society. One of the things I'd heard about before I went to Asia is that they're a short people, and they like working with lightweight like sheet metals for roofing. And you don't go to Home Depot and get like 90 different kinds of fastenings. You just go there and get like 9 pounds of nails. So in order to put like your roof on, you just do these nails that are 2 inches long going through like this 1/4 inch of metal. So there's all these spikes everywhere. And if you're tall, they're all at head level. And they're rusty as fuck. Anyway. Oh, so say your hospitals fill up. And say people that work in the hospital get sick. Society is still full of lots of people that have spent years working in the hospital, but now they're working at the lumber yard, or now they're actually helping with water, waste, electricity. You know, like they're off doing different jobs. Everyone's getting trained, doing different things for their whole life. You're always getting exposed to something new. But then you're like, hey, we need a few people from the lumber yard to come back over to the hospital because the following people are sick. You know, please come back, that kind of thing. Same thing from the university. All the people that go to the hospital and then start teaching medicine could start coming back. So as people get sick and have to leave the hospital, people come in and replace them. And depending on the size of the community, there'd be seemingly might be enough people to make sure that no service was ever unattended, because so many people could step in and take over. So coronavirus in real life, it's kind of interesting that I hate shopping. So I was looking around my house, I was seeing all these things that people are buying, and I was looking around my house, and I kind of haphazardly put things everywhere. And so when I started like kind of like pushing things into piles, I'm fully fucking stocked. I'm prepped. I'm prepped. But I'm not too worried. I mean, I'm worried, but I'm also worried about being in a car accident. I'm worried about a fairly large amount of things, and most of those seem out of my control. So, you know, you take measures as you see fit, and then just do the best you can. Though, one thing I noticed is that since the coronavirus, or the threat of it, affects every aspect of your life, like work, commuting, shopping, going out to restaurants and whatnot. They're closed. I understood they closed today. They closed restaurants here in Portland. It really brings out your basic fundamental operating procedure for day-to-day life. Like it just write down like what defines you or me when put under a certain amount of threat or pressure. And it's interesting because I've seen every response that you can imagine. I've seen people that appear to be energized by the idea of a pandemic or the effects of a pandemic. I've seen people completely taken out, not from sickness but from fear. Like I saw someone not too long ago, and I was amazed at the physical, visual effects of someone experiencing constant day-to-day fear. They looked awful. Malt liquor. And it's all based on the idea. Like, it was one of the things I'm like, what tangible things have taken place? What has happened in your life? Coming up on 9 minutes, and nothing had happened. It was all on the. It was all just on the sense of impending danger. Another thing that was interesting, and like, I'll probably just say this, but I won't go too on about it, because I've done a video on the possibility of changing people's mind. I've done a fairly large amount of study on the topic, and the outcome is it is really, really difficult for someone to change their mind. It's even more difficult for me to change their mind. And it's just how some people's brains work. Like, and for me, I think why I'm a different is I'll adopt an idea or information as useful, like a tool. And if someone says that's for driving nails, that screwdriver is not working too good, try this hammer. And I'll use the hammer. I'm like, fuck this screwdriver. Yeah, I'm not like, no, the screwdriver works just fine. I know a lot of people don't understand how to use the screwdriver. You know, I'm not married to any idea. I'm not married to the idea of being right about anything. But it's interesting about this because at first, no one knew what to do. Not even the experts knew what to do. So they're throwing out generally good ideas about how to have a healthy immune system. Um, but then people took that as like, all you have to do is wash your hands and you're good. And then when more information came out about it primarily being an airborne, transmitted through airborne contact, because then it's just breathing. Um, so then only the best masks with the filters on them are going to work, and then maybe not always, because also you have receptors around your eyes, way more difficult, but possible. But for some people, maybe that might be a coping mechanism too. For some people it's like hand sanitizer just all day long, and maybe that might just bring down their stress level a little bit, as opposed to saying like, hey, did you know that, I'd encourage you to look up some expert from this name, from this university, working for the CDC, that says this. They're like, I don't know. I don't want to, I'm scared to hear what the expert says because it might contradict the initial information that I got. That makes me feel a little safer. Mulliker. For instance, actually, I was just giving the advice to several people just to stay calm. And boy, you should have seen some of the negative reactions I got from that. Don't stay calm. If I would have said, did you know staying calm boosts your immune system by 20%? I could totally make that up. And then someone like, I hear staying calm makes you healthier. Probably does, actually. Oh, God, did you see my yard? It's awful. Just awful. All right, 13 minutes. Anyway. Yeah, my Earltopia videos fucking cracked me up. Because I was just kind of like, I was just freeballing. I was just spitting information and ideas. And then things keep happening since I made those videos. And I'm like, in Earltopia, that would have been all worked out. That would have been sorted out. There you have it. All right, Mulliker, everybody.